Thanks for inviting me. I will perhaps bring you down to a more practical level than the previous speaker and tell you about what's actually happening in Norway. In some way, I feel that I come from a different planet, listening to what is happening here. It's like Disneyland for EVs, I can tell you. You all know about the ketchup bottle effect, of course. And that's what we see is happening in Norway. So it all started, I think, something like 25 years ago with the NGO and also part of a famous pop group in Norway called a-ha. I don't know if you heard Take On Me. And they involved a lot in driving this car through Oslo. When we have toll roads around Oslo, they didn't pay the toll road for it. So in the final end, the government took the car from them. But it was actually the start of focusing on EVs in Oslo, special, and also in Norway. So get the famous pop group to, to do something. I will go through the background, some facts and figures of Norway, and also how did we actually achieve what we have achieved. And also, I will not conclude, because I think actually it's quite open, but I call it a pit stop, that I will have some thoughts about what's actually happening. Perhaps they are negative. I don't want to be in that way. I think it's very, very positive what's happening in Norway, but there are some thoughts I have. And the conclusion perhaps is that environment is just a small part of the whole process. As Karen mentioned, I've been working with transportation for 25 years. I was one of the first to design what I call a green criteria set for public procurement in Norway. That was actually working. That was a great success for me, I have to say. I'm very proud of it. I worked with a lot of different companies and also led some of the ministry or kind of processes. Like this is the climate way that was started about 3-4 years ago and was actually 15 various organizations in the transport sector agreeing on some goals. Today I'm also developing an environmental management program for car dealerships and workshops. I like to work on the practical side, I have to say. That's my way to do it. And the whole idea is that you cannot sell green if you're not green inside. I'm not sure if that's the goal for this kind of dealerships in England also. Okay, just to give you some, I will call about Norway, the special things about Norway. First of all, we are not a member of EU. We are financially very strong, so what we read in the paper of the rest of Europe, it's like Disneyland, I can tell you. So it's very different. Cars are very, very expensive in Norway. And of course, that's also one of the incentives that could be used in EVs processes. And we have also high acceptations for taxation. And we have a lot of oil, as you probably know, a lot of money. And we are the few states or countries that's actually put it in the bank. So we have a lot of money in reserve. And what we see else in Europe, they have all lived on lend money. The expensive cars, as I mentioned, this is my son, and that's about 20 years ago. Because if you have heavy taxation, of course, people are getting good ideas. And this is actually a bus. Someone in Norway discovered that they could put in 11 seats in the Mercedes Geländewagen, and then it could register as a bus, and of course, no taxation at all. And even This could be used in the bus lane, of course. So all rich people bought a Geländewagen and drive to the bus lane. Okay, we are a population of 5 million and 2 million, 0.2 vehicles. As you can see, we have the highest rates of EVs. 75% is privately owned, and we are now passing 6,000 EVs in Norway. That's, of course, very impressive. I will also show you some of EV sales globally. This is figures, of course, and you will also then see that Norway is quite impressive. We are achieving now 1.6 of the total sales of cars in Norway. So it's, and I expect that this year, actually, we will go over 2, perhaps even to 3%. And we have some goals, and it's also political. So I will show you a happy salesperson afterwards in the picture. Okay, mostly it's, of course, Mitsubishi's. We have Nissan. As I understand, we are something like, we are taking 45% of the total sales in Europe now of Nissan Leafs. Perhaps by the end of the year, 100. I'm not sure, but it's really a catch-up effect. Yeah, we had 2 producers in Norway, Think and also Buddy. They go bankrupt, of course, basically because those other makes more attractive cars. Okay. There's 6 reasons I will point out for the success in Norway. That's first of all, God gave us 96% hydropower. So basically we have clean, to a certain extent, clean power. So we can put into the car, and therefore it's quite CO2 efficient. We were born that way, and that's perhaps one of the reasons also, because many other countries is not born that way. They are actually made that way. So they made other kind of energy solution. The other thing was happened in Norway, and that has been for many, many years, and one of the lucky things was that we had the Buddy and Think also. And what you see here is all kind of political parties in Norway. And they are, when they're doing campaigning, anything, they would like to show them in an electric car. And this is just a few pictures that I find on the internet for 10 minutes. It's extremely. And this is the right-wing party in Norway, and there you have the left-wing party. So it's everybody is agreeing on that. And of course, they are also campaigning on, let's say, how much green they can be. So this is quite interesting. So that's one. The infrastructure is quite impressive also. We are now, of course, investing a lot in that we call quick charging, because usually common charging takes 7 to 8 hours. You can, I don't know how many coffee cups you can take in 7, 8 hours, but so quick charging is, of course, a solution. So today we have 70, or by the end of this year, 75 charging points, and 3,123 charging points for ordinary charging. And that, of course, combined with parking space. And usually it's parking space in very attractive places. I live in central Oslo, where we have, I think, the biggest parking space for electric vehicles outside. Even Paul was impressed. So, okay, I can tell you about the 10 incentives. Free parking, of course, in all public parking places. That all over, all parking places you can park for free. It's not special for electric vehicles. Toll roads and congestion charge, and of course there's a lot of toll roads in Norway. I can say between Drammen, who's a small city, 30 minutes drive from Oslo, it's 3 points of tolling. So it's quite extensive. So it's a lot to save. Of course, this access to bus and public transport lanes. The yearly road tax is only 405 kroner. For an ordinary car, that's 6 times more. So that's a good saving also. Free fuel, of course. And it's even in, let's say, commercial parking spaces also, you get free fuel for your car. But you have then, of course, the commercial parking spaces, they will charge you for parking. Or VAT, and that's very important. Notice that. The value-added tax is 0 on EVs. And of course, we have heavy taxation on other cars, and it's very progressive. So if you want to buy a Porsche in Norway, it will cost you 3 times more than in UK. And it's also a discount on the company car tax, free transportation of public ferries. Of course, we have a lot of fjords in Norway, so for some that could be attractive, but it's mostly in the remote area. And also premium, I'm not sure about that, but you have this kind of public kilometer per that you get refund. So that's also a special deal for it. Estimated, and that's very estimated, I have to say, 50,000 Norwegian kroner per year, and in a life cycle, approximately 350,000. So if you look at it, it's nearly what the value of the car cost, what the cost of the car. And I can tell you, it's a bomb coming here soon. Okay, this is the difference between the Scandinavian country. I don't have too much time, so I don't want to brag about it. But the bomb, the bomb was 2 weeks ago. They tried to make it for 100,000 EVs. But now it's political consensus. All the parties in the parliament agree that they will have this kind of incentives to 2017. So if there are any salesmen here looking for a job, this is the potential. I expect that they will reach it with that kind of incentives. So 50,000 EVs by 2017. Okay, everybody loves it. That's also one of the things. As you see, police, taxis. This is for us, I don't know, for you, a famous racing driver. And it's this is the Crown Prince of Norway taking his children to kindergarten. So it's perfect. As I said, even the children. And this is the old buddy, the small buddy that we had, but they went bankrupt, where you had actually 3 seats in the car. So, okay, at the pit stop, I would say one thing, and that was this newsletter from a leasing company. That was for beginning of this year. Actually, it says, Elbil danker ut kollektivtransport. You understand that. It says actually that the EVs are more useful than public transport. Okay, so it's, I've been working with mobility management, of course, for many years, and this is, it's a strange thing. And it's more attractive than public transport, walking and bicycling. That's interesting. And the EVs are subsidized in a way that actually it's most people that work in areas where there is already a lot of public transport. That you probably also see here if you start to get EVs. And of course, why should you pay 25% VAT on a bicycle when you don't do that on a car? Strange, yeah, okay. And that's also because public transport has to pay also VAT, 8%. Interesting. And it has never been sold as many SUVs in Norway today than, it's, I think 45 or 50% of the car market is SUVs. And what we see is that EVs are, of course, the second or the third car. That's basically good. It's, of course, do something about the environment in some way. But it's mostly, of course, for quite rich people that already has perhaps a big SUV or Range Rover or something like that. And then they think it's more practical to go to work in that way. So that's... Do we end us up as before? And then subsidizing big and expensive cars. What we see today is that we have a development from what we can think and Buddy was kind of honest EV's car. Nothing much, but just a thing that you can transport you around with. But now what we're seeing is Fisker and so on. It's quite complicated. And as I said to you, the electronic in cars today is actually more environmental damaging than the car. Quite interesting perspective. And of course, then back to my Mercedes Geländewagen, of course. And do it really change how people behave and what to think? It's open questions. I think it's important to discuss, and of course, based on the ketchup effect in Norway, we should think about it. Okay, this, as you know, perhaps you've seen a picture before. This is the Tesla. It's an electric vehicle. On the right side is the Prius. And on the top, it's the SUV. So it's actually, what we see here is what we can call a basic kind of conflict of interest. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. If you want to know or have some questions here or in the future, note down my address, of course, and I can answer them. Okay. Thank you very much.